cups, our mission. What is 1 Million Cups about? It was started by the Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation really wanted to support entrepreneurship in multiple cities across the country over a cup of coffee was the idea. And really, these are business owners, local business owners that have typically been in business between 1 and 5 years. They're here to tell you their story, things they've overcome, things they're still dealing with, things that maybe they can get input from the audience. More than welcome to ask questions. We encourage questions. We actually have a 20-minute question and answer session, so you can ask them some of the things that how they've overcome things, or maybe provide some input to those business owners, which is exciting. Our coffee cup sponsor is the BBB and the SBDC, so we're so thankful that they provide our coffee cups. Our coffee is provided by Switchback Coffee Roasters. It's a local roaster, just roastery down the street here on Boulder and Institute. And our coffee sponsor, which has made this lovely coffee free for you guys today, is Chris with the Network in Action. He'll talk a little bit about Network in Action.
Thanks, James. How's everybody doing? Great. First coffee sponsor of 2018.
That's right. Yeah.
It's going on the LinkedIn as soon as I'm done up here. Anyway, Network in Action is a referral networking group to build your business out. Basically, what we can do for you is put you in a room with like-minded business owners and basically create 36 unpaid salespeople for your business. Who doesn't want unpaid salespeople, right? It's much more efficient than some of the other groups that are out there because of our use of technology, trying to get on that wave, the apps, and also automation on the marketing process. So I'd love to talk to you if you need a little bit of a jump start, want to be more efficient with your marketing here in 2018. Love to talk to you guys about it. Thanks.
Awesome, thanks. I'd also like to talk about our video sponsor, which is Pat from Turn Turtle. They're a video company that does educational videos and things along that line. They are also, we're going to be wrapping up. Did we get live streaming today? Or?
We did. No,
okay, so it'll be recorded today, but we hope that in the future 1 Million Cups will be live streaming. So if somebody couldn't make it, or if they're in another city and they wanted to watch 1 Million Cups, it'll be live streaming, which we're really excited about adding. We're also thankful to Catalyst Campus for providing this wonderful facility. As you can see, it's just such a great opportunity to meet in this space, and they sponsor us by not making us pay for the space, which is great. Free space is always good. So our first presenter is Allie, and I've known Allie for a long time, and she definitely is a tigress, and we're excited to hear your story. Allie.
All right, thank you. All right. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! All right, welcome to 2018. My name is Allie Jensen. I'm a local small business owner. I own Frontline Floor Coatings, and I am the top cat at Untamed the Tigress. I'm so excited to be here today and to share with you a little bit of my story on my journey to the path of Tigress. It's been challenging, it's been fun, a whole lot of those things. But I'm here to tell you about some of the things that I've had to face and overcome, and what I had to shift in my business to get me back on that path to success. To become a tradeswoman tigress, I've had to adapt and overcome. A tigress is confident. She is strong and feminine. She possesses desire, discipline, dedication, and determination. Most of all, a tigress is a leader. If you want to be a business owner, let me tell you, you better be ready to be a leader. I've had to learn a lot of lessons in life and business. And the most important one, no one does it alone. I'm a tigress. I have been where you are. I've been where you've been. And I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. Struggling is gonna be a part of your journey as an entrepreneur. It's like a rite of passage, right? We all hear about the struggling entrepreneurial stories, right? It's gonna happen. Struggling in that journey, in your journey, alone, is a choice. I believe there's a tiger inside each and every one of us as entrepreneurs. The question is, are you going to suppress it or unleash it? In 2007, I made the smartest and dumbest decision of my life, and that was to leave corporate America and go full-time in the business that my husband and I started in 2005. We had 4 children at home at the time. That's right, I have 4 kids. We had a crew of employees. We had a couple of trucks all logoed out. We had this great office to operate out of. I mean, things were awesome until 2008. I heard the groans. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? Okay? When the recession hit, when the recession hit Colorado, we lost tens of thousands of dollars in a very short amount of time. We lost our customers. We lost our income. We lost a car. And ultimately, we lost our home. How do you show up every day with a smile to your customers, your employees, your family, when your financial world is crumbling around you? You do it with a leadership mindset. Creating a leadership mindset in your business is critical to its success. When things get tough, immerse yourself in positivity and personal development. One of my best mentors, Sandra Yancey, said, "Your income will grow in direct proportion to your personal development." Words of wisdom, let me tell you. Once I got my mind right, I realized that my business really didn't have a true targeted focus, and I had the epiphany that everyone is not my ideal client. So I had to ask myself, what do we do good? Okay, let's do more of that. Who is my ideal client and where do they hang out? That's where I need to be. Service and construction businesses are dominated by men, and they are a good old boy network. So how do you break in and get a shot if nobody wants to give you a shot? Because these guys value knowledge, expertise, your track record. So how do you get a track record? You show up confidently and consistently. Next, I learned communication skills. Different personality types communicate differently. Men and women communicate differently. When you improve your communication skills, all your relationships will improve. And guess what? When I started studying and building my communication skills, I made more sales. Isn't that awesome? Right? Mark Cuban gives us sage advice and says, sales cures all. Right? Make that money. Finally, if you are in that space of needing some positivity and support, if you need help unleashing that tiger that's inside of you, because I know it's there, I invite you to join me next month at the launch of my podcast, Untamed the Tigress. It's launching on Blog Talk Radio. We dive in deeper on these subjects and more. I bring in industry experts. You are not alone. I am a tigress, and I am here to help. Thank you.
Now we're going to 20 minutes of question and answer.
Yes?
So how, you said that you went out in the industry to figure out where the good old boys were hanging out. How did you even figure out where they hang out?
Google is my friend. I started just asking, where do you hang out to some of my good clients that I did have? What are some of the organizations that I need to be a part of? I just started asking questions. You talk to your ideal clients a lot because you want more of those. And I was fortunate enough to have some really good, solid relationships with some of my ideal clients. and they were willing to give me some. You know, a lot of people want to help you in your entrepreneurial journey. A lot of people do. They just don't know how until you ask the question. My father always told me the only stupid question is the one you didn't ask, right? So that's really how I did. I just started researching construction associations, things like that. Colorado Construction Association, things like that. And I found here in our own backyard, El Paso County Contractors Association. All of your general contractors in this town are members of that organization. I also found women's groups because it's kind of tough being the only chick in the office sometimes, right? And so I found the National Association of Women in Construction. It's a national organization. We have a local chapter right here, the Pikes Peak chapter. I'm vice president of the board of that particular group, so you just have to look. Anybody else? Yes?
So who is your ideal client and how do you find them specifically?
My ideal client, I have a very targeted niche business. I specialize in coatings. So I do coatings for concrete, tile, and vinyl flooring. So I look for medical offices. They're constantly needing a coating for their VCT, which is vinyl composite tile. They're always looking for alternatives to wax because strip, wax, buff, strip, wax, buff. It's a constant, ongoing expense. I found coatings that eliminate that process altogether. So I look for people who are struggling with their floors, people who have epoxy peeling off their concrete, stain peeling off their concrete, people who have pits and chips and holes in their driveways. I mean, those are things that we can do. And so I just look for people that have challenges and I help them solve problems. Yes?
What was that aha moment that you chose Tigris over all the different stuff? Where'd that start?
So, Tigris, and specifically Master Tigris from Kung Fu Panda. Yeah. So there's a couple of people in this room that know I practice Taekwondo. I am a black belt in Taekwondo. I still practice. I was there last night. The owner of my martial arts school is here, so this. So I am actually halfway on my journey to second degree black belt right now. So it just seemed very fitting. You know, martial arts has become a way of life for me. It's very important to myself and my family, and I have kids, so of course I see all the cartoon movies, and I love tigers. I've loved tigers since I was very young, and it just fit. So, but I can't use her for any of my marketing and advertising. I just threw her up there because it's cool. So, you know, it's a little trademark thing. Yes, Bob.
So what's the vision for Untamed the Tigers podcast? What's like down the road? What are you looking to accomplish with that?
Down the road, the first thing I want to accomplish is just to get it out there that women, specifically in my industry, are not alone. Hanging out with men, we turn more to the masculine side, and we don't ask for help when we truly need it. And so with Untamed the Tigress, I really want all these women in construction and trades to know that they're not alone. There are resources for them. We can be successful. We can have work-life harmony. All of those things. And eventually, I would love to do corporate training. That's the big vision for Untamed the Tigress. Because there are more and more women getting into this trades and construction industry as owners, now more than ever. Yes?
What was your go-to resource for improving your leadership and your communication development? So two separate questions.
Yes. So leadership development, man, that's been a long road. And it just starts with a single step. I started my personal development with a very super short read by Hiram Smith, the founder of Franklin Covey, called The Power of Perception. And that shifted my perception. How you view and see things, how you process them, that is your personal reality. And when you shift your view of that reality, other things shift along with it. Another great resource that's local is a community of women called E-Women Network. It is founded by Sandra Yancey, who I mentioned before as one of my mentors, and it is all about business and personal development. So if you are looking for a group of women who are supportive, it's not a fight for business, it's not a referral-based network, it is about supporting you and your journey and your business to success. And then the communications training, to answer part 2, I use bank communications, B-A-N-K. And one of my bank code experts, Tirza, right over here, raise your hand, Tirza, is right there. She can tell you a lot more about that. But it is a system of personality-based training. I've never seen anything like it. It is the best scientific personality-based training I've ever seen. And it covers everybody, male, female, it doesn't matter. It says there are 4 personality types in this specific training, and they are spot on. So, and they teach you how to communicate with the different personality types. So, any other questions? Yes?
On the floor coding, do you use ESD coding?
We do not. We do not. I haven't heard of that before. What is that?
Inductive, so in electronics?
No.
When we, I'm familiar with way back, they actually, you can put tile down,
Mm-hmm.
but you supposedly could get a coating. And you put the coating down on regular vinyl, and then crank it home.
Oh, yeah, no.
But I was wondering if
We have coatings that are that can go on vinyl flooring, tile and grout flooring, concrete. We have different coatings for different surfaces. So. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what the 2008 to 2017 climb looked like for you guys?
Oh man. Okay. So the business that we started in 2005 was a franchise. And because of our struggle and strife, we ended up selling that business. But we're gluttons for punishment, so we started another one. This one is a local Colorado Springs startup. We've been doing this one since 2012. And, you know, it's kind of like climbing a ladder. You just do it one rung at a time. And when you fall that far back, there's only one way you can go, right? And so one of the things my husband and I would say is that, well, we can laugh or we can cry. And we would choose to laugh. And we would be silly and stupid and goofy and crack jokes with each other and all those things to shift our perspective on the current situation. And that's what having that leadership mindset is about, is that you can take a really crappy situation and still see the silver lining. And I think that is what you have to train yourself to do as an entrepreneur, is because it's just like life. It's not a cakewalk. You know, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? So it's just one thing at a time. You know, you can see the big picture and you can have goals, but just take one little chunk at a time. Overcome one obstacle at a time. Yes?
I'm just curious, what role did faith and or spirituality have in helping you get through that perspective shift, if any?
You know, I'm a very open person when it comes to spirituality. And so, but faith did have a whole lot, because you have to have faith in yourself. And you have to believe in what you're doing. And you have to believe that you're capable of making it so. And so that faith in the unknown absolutely did get me through, for sure. But mindfulness, meditation, self-care, those are huge when you're struggling. It is so important to take a time out for yourself and just get away from it all, even if it's just a drive in the mountains or a walk in the park. Those are real good resets for you when you start going down that downward spiral of, oh, life is hard and this is so terrible and what the heck was I thinking when I started this business? So having faith in yourself and taking those moments of self-care, really very important. Yes?
You mentioned the power of perception as being a very strong impact on you. Are there a couple of other books that you might recommend to people who are interested in that leadership mindset?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just would be interesting to hear some of the other things you've read.
Okay, so she asked if there was other books that I've read besides The Power of Perception that I could suggest, and I have a whole lot. But my new favorite, and I've read this book probably at least 4 or 5 times, is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And it's an awesome, awesome read, and it's a real confidence booster in that book, and that really kind of helped me get out of my own head and be like, you know what? I am a tigress. I am a badass. And so those kinds of books were helping. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That was a great one. Lisa Nichols, any of her books. The Secret, Abundance Now. That's a really good one.
So when you start your podcast, maybe you could list some of those too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to have a book of the month that I'm going to throw out there because I never stop learning. It helps me stay in that positive zone where I need to be, and it helps keep my mind right. Never stop learning. Never stop feeding yourself that positivity. That is so important. Keep it going. Yes?
Do you do trades differently because you're a tigress than the rest of the people in the trades?
I think I do. I would like to say that I'm totally different than everybody else out there. But the thing is I think I'm pretty similar to a lot of the ladies in my industry. As far as our business operations go, I absolutely think we do things differently. I go about creating relationships with my contractors differently than a lot of the other subcontractors do. You know, I don't want a one and done kind of relationship with my clients. You know, I want to know how their kids are doing. I want to know how their spouse is doing. I want to know how their business is doing. How are their employees? You know, we all face the same struggles. They're just called different things. And when we look at our peers in the industry as peers instead of competition, it changes things. People are open, they're receptive. Like I said, they want to help you. You just got to ask. Now, I will say, you don't want to just walk up to anybody and say, I need your help. They'll think you're crazy. You want to pick your mentors and pick the people that you share your information with wisely. Because there are people out there, unfortunately, that will abuse that confidence that you give them. So you do have to have a little bit of a discerning eye when you choose who you talk to, choose who you want to ask for help. But when I look at people, I tell people I don't have any competitors. I have peers in the industry. One of my favorite words is co-opetition. Right? There is no competition. We all cooperate and we get there together. Co-opetition. Any other questions? Yes.
Where do you see where do you sense the construction industry here in this local area going in 2018?
2018, you know, I think things are going to kind of taper off a little bit. I don't think it's going to just stop altogether. But we had kind of a big surge here in 2017. And I think it's time for the construction industry to just kind of take a little step back and do a little evaluation. You know, say, like, plan, do, review. It's time to review. There's a lot of areas in our town where remodelers could be huge. You know, the whole southern corridor of Academy, for example. We all know about that, and that needs a lot of improvement in that area. But we seem to have all of our focus either east or north, where there's big open land to do new construction. So I think you're going to see a turn up in remodeling, and new construction is going to kind of level out for just a little bit, just to see where things go.
And what role do you see for alternative energy solutions at the housing level, not necessarily the corporate level?
So like solar for your home?
Yeah, solar.
You know, I'm just not sure that it's there yet, but that's not my industry area of expertise. The gentleman sitting right behind you, Dennis, can definitely help answer that question. So, anyone else? James.
What would be the number one piece of advice you would give somebody after experiencing failure and kind of retooling? What would be that piece of advice you could give somebody that's going through that?
I think the most sage piece of advice I can give to someone who is maybe in that space where they're in that struggle, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. It's really easy to go and chase after the bright and shiny when you're desperate. It is really easy. And being able to discern an opportunity from a distraction is part of what having that leadership mindset will help you do. You'll be able to prioritize when you shift your mindset. Decisions for your business will come easier because you know what's important and what's not. There's always going to be somebody coming at you from left or right with the bright and shiny that says, hey, buy my product or service because it's going to make you money. It doesn't always work out that way. Just because you're in a bad spot in your business doesn't mean your business is bad. Just means you need to shift a couple of things, small things that make a big difference. Thank you guys very much. Oh, one more.
Time for one more question
One more.
before the super special question. Does
Oh.
anybody have a question?
Joe.
Okay, so looking back before 2008, after you've gone through the whole process as a small business owner, was there any, as you look back, do you think that you do things different now? What lesson did you learn that maybe would have kept you out of that real significant trough? Or is it just the economy and everything that happened in 2008 and there wasn't a whole lot you could do about it?
Wow. So there's a combination of things for the answer to that question. He asked, looking back now, would I do things differently? What did I do differently? So I would have to say complacency in your business is a dangerous place to be. And that's where we were. I mean, let's face it, back in 2005 to 2007, I mean, the economy was great, right? You didn't have to really worry about going out and making sales because people were coming to you. So we were very complacent. We thought everything was on autopilot. It was just going to keep going. And I think that's a rookie mistake. You know, I was very young. Had 4 little kids at home, you know. My brain was everywhere. But stay in your lane, never be complacent, always be a learner. Those are going to help you catapult your business.
And who would like to ask the super special question? Go ahead, Nikki.
What can we, as Colorado Springs community, do to help you?
Oh, man. So as a Colorado Springs community, I would love for you guys to share what you've heard from me today with others. If there is somewhere or a group or function where you feel my speech or my talk would be of benefit to the audience, I would love to be there. That is my mission now. Yes, I still have my Frontline floor coatings, and that is my bread and butter. And that will always be there. That's my family-run business. My husband and I do it together. But now, I see the need. I see the need for a leader in my industry. And I see the need for a female leader in my industry. And I'm here. And I'm ready.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Melissa is one of our board members or committee members for Women in Cups, so she helps us get speakers together and has been a valuable part of the board. We love having her, so it's a great opportunity to have her present about her business, Common Cause Catering, which is a social enterprise.
We're talking about Carter Payne today.
Oh, we're talking about Carter Payne. I'm sorry. We're talking about Carter Payne today. I
Is
apologize. I like Carter Payne too. They have great beer. So, you want to talk a little Yeah.
So, all right, well, this can just hang out there. I thought I might have this problem because it's a Linux system running on a Chromebook and it makes people cranky. So, that's fine. We'll just plow ahead, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, then that's okay. So I'm Melissa. Hi. Hi. I'm a hot mess this morning. So I am the proud new owner in partnership with my partner Jeff of the Payne Chapel. So has anyone heard of the Payne Chapel before? James, yeah, you. I was joking with James that this is a long story of misogyny and strife, but it's not really misogyny as much. There's a lot of history. We'll get into that in the questions. So the Payne was built in 1897. It's one of the oldest buildings remaining in Colorado Springs today, and it was the first African American church in this community. And so this building was part of the Palmer Land Grant Give. So it's this really quirky little triangular lot, and the congregation. Sweet.
You get your screen split, that's all.
Oh, well, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I've not
Just
watched
make
your
it work.
house, so I'm sorry.
So the congregation that built this church, these guys are the brothers Carter, who came from Pennsylvania. They got this land grant. They truck these stones down from the mountain, build this amazing building, and hire Brother Payne to do the preaching, because that's a really important part. But it's hey, thank you guys. It's not the most important part though. So the chapel takes on the moniker the Payne once the brothers Carter and Payne have passed. Oh, thanks. See, I just need somebody else to do that. I'll just talk. It was the congregation's church from 1897 until 1985. The congregation outgrew this building, and so they sold the building and moved to a larger campus. They're still a lively congregation in town. Thank you. And since then, it's been real estate offices, insurance offices. It was an event center. It was an ill-fated bar that I won't mention the name of, but if you've been there as a bar before I owned it, then you get it. And most importantly, one of the reasons that I really, really wanted to buy this building is that this building represents a community. Because in 1897, it didn't much matter what you believed as far as faith went. What mattered was this was your congregation, these were your people. There weren't a ton of African Americans in the West in 1897. And so this was a meeting place of celebration, of mourning, of setting your kids up on dates, of, like all of the things that go into making a community. That's what this was. And so to be able to bring back that sense of community to this building, I feel really honored in that. And I say that I'm purchasing the building, and that's an overstatement. I've been chosen to steward this building, and that's a really, really big deal. So it worked. So right now, what we're doing with the Payne is it's a manufacturer's tasting room for a brewery called Local Relic. If you guys were here for the Local Relic presentation, it's a bunch of really weird beer, and if you like craft beer, you should come drink beer. We're open Wednesdays from Saturdays from about 4 to 9. Saturday and Sunday we open at 3. We stay open a little later on Friday and Saturday nights. It depends on how much people are spending money, to be honest with you. Like, if you're going to spend your money, you're going to stay and take it. Like, that's just the way it is. We're running we have 2 food concepts right now. One is called Taco Confusion, and it's fusion tacos. The chef just came out with a bulgogi taco, which is right there. The other concept is Mission Impossible. Gotcha. And so Mission Impossible is a little bit more straightforward. It's really just kind of a build your own postable concept. We're currently remodeling the basement space so that we have some more storage and some meeting space and everything else. And we're looking for, with the restaurant concepts, we're looking for at least 2 more concepts to operate within the space. Because again, back to this sense of community, we're calling it a restaurant incubator. So what we really want to do is take local people who are focused on local small business food and give them some runway, because restaurants are tough. And so if you could have 12 months, let's say, of mentored operation time. So I mean, I may or may not be the best mentor for someone, but let's say you wanted to open a taco concept and you didn't know if you wanted to be bricks and mortar or a food truck or any of the other things that you could be as a restaurant. The Carter Payne is a place that you can come and test a concept, test a theory, prove a concept, get some followers, and actually have a bit of a runway to launch what could be a really great concept in town. But if you don't have $250,000 to lay down on opening, sorry, like that's just the way it works. Like, oh, you don't have an angel investor? That's too bad. Because really, I mean, that's kind of the way it goes. So we're looking to the Carter Payne to support our community, to be a community hub, and to be a community grower. Because I would love, and I hope there are no executives from Applebee's in here, but I would love to take them down with local food. So, and if you do work for Applebee's, it's okay. I'm sure you have a concept you could come test at the Carter Payne, right? So that's what's going on right now. Coming up, we're looking at the food incubator program. We're building on a new patio. So this is a westward-facing patio. It's slated to be 75 seats. The engineer and I have had some disagreements, so we're still working. We're still working on that. We got a grant from the DDA for that, so thank you to the Downtown Development Authority. We'll expand our license to include wine and spirits. So one bar will be local relic, one bar will be wine and local spirits. Local wine is a little bit harder to source a wide variety of, but we do want to highlight Colorado wine when it's appropriate. The guy from 300 Days of Shine was here 2-3 weeks ago. And so that's a wonderful potential partnership. Like, that's someone we would love to highlight. And we'll develop a community calendar. That science fair is going to do we're calling it Sunday Fun Day, because if you pay Laura, she'll take your kids to the basement and play with them, and you can drink beer upstairs. So, just saying, like, it's a great deal.
Opportunity to take at the Carter? How did that come
So, Local Relic was going to go into the Lincoln School when that project was developing, and it ended up just not being a match for us on a lot of different levels. And that's okay. I had seen the Carter Payne as the previous bar, and I told the guys when we were just doing beer dinners out of the Colorado House, like for fun, that we would end up at the Carter Payne. And they all laughed, and they're like, haha, Melissa, whatever. And sure enough, here we are. I don't know, I've always loved the building. I love the history of the building. I love the intention of the building. Is it a church? Yes. Was it built as a church? Sure, yeah. It was also built as a place for community. And so it's always just kind of called to me. And I heard it was not for sale, but that there might be an opportunity there. And so I drove to Texas and I found the owners and I took them to lunch and I made them sit on the patio in like 98-degree heat. So it was like a stress tactic, and it worked. So,
Are you also doing it as an event center too? I mean, is that, because that was kind
So-
of part of the history of that, is the community events and everything.
Yeah,
How are you
so
bringing that in?
So we are, with the basement conversion, that's really where we're doing kind of our public and community events. We're looking to do like acoustic music. There's a guy that wants to do a comedy show. Got that science fairy. That space will be available for meetings, like if you need a board meeting or any of those kinds of things. Like, we do have space that we'll make available to the community. Nikki?
The board meetings come with booze.
That depends on the board.
No, I have a question though. So, you kind of talked about this aspect that's really cool of the incubation concept. That's
Right.
awesome. Would you consider Carter Payne a social impact business, or?
So, I would consider the Carter Payne a social impact launch pad. The Carter Payne as an entity, it's really hard for it to really meet those markers of social impact business. You know, Local Relic has their social impact, catering has its social impact, you know, all of those things. I would really, really like to cultivate operators who have a heart for social impact or an ability to turn a business into a social impact business, and have the Carter Payne really help them launch that on. So I made some suggested questions for y'all. I'm not bossy. This is also the background is the rendering of what the patio build out should look like, which is exciting because it's a downtown westward facing patio. You don't get a lot of those. So,
have you considered glass or plexiglass on the patio to block the wind? I noticed in Colorado, you go to outdoor patios, and we have a lot of windy days. Unless you have a building that is preventing it, you can have a beautiful day, but the wind still.
My first roadblock in my mind with that is who cleans those? Because it's me. The answer is me. I know, right? So a lot of that patio is protected by what we call the bump out, which is a ridiculous name for where the bathrooms are. And a lot of what you see there is not necessarily to scale with the rework because the handicap ramp comes up on the far side of that. So there's not a ton of seating that is exposed to the north, which is really where your cold wind comes from, but the westward side is exposed and probably will stay exposed based on the budget that I've been given recently. Most recently.
So you've got a question, what are some of the challenges you expected? What are some of the things in the future that you're thinking is a challenge to make this a success? I know you love failure and you embrace it.
Clearly. I feel like we should start all of 1 Million Cups with, hi, I'm Melissa and I'm an entrepreneur. And you all be like, hi, Melissa. Because that's kind of what it feels like. One of the things I think is going to be tough moving forward is finding a source of incubators for the restaurant operations. There are a lot of great people in this town. There's a resort just down the street that turns out super talented culinarians that are young and hungry. And they haven't failed as much as I have, so they still want to do it. But eventually that'll dry up. And so one of my concerns is how do we keep propagating and pushing local food? And one of the answers to that is on the backside, which is we keep supporting and eating at local places so they see success, so people are inclined to want to do it themselves. So, Mr. Proby.
How has the universe conspired to make this a success?
I will tell you that that's a good question.
It's not on the list.
I know, it's not on the list. It's not on the list, James. So one of the things I told James that's been interesting with this building, and Allie alluded to this, is that a lot of the development and the growth in this town that goes on is driven by men. And that's just kind of the way of the world. I don't take offense to that. What I do take offense to is that one of those men called a friend of mine who's helping me procure this building and said, what does this little girl think she's doing? And can she get the deal done? And he called me and told me that happened. And he said, I don't tell you that to insult you. I tell you that to light a fire under your ass to make sure this gets done. And I said, thank you. But so just with it never having been, it not being on the market and the previous person in the lease or the group in the lease, decided to let the lease go because it was the right choice for them. And it just all of these things kind of happened. And then the pressure tactic in Texas, it just felt really kind of kismet. And as we keep taking steps, in your mind, you think it'll all happen at once. It'll be a beautiful miracle. And that is not how it goes. It is, to quote a very famous gospel song, it is one day at a time, sweet Jesus, with these kinds of things. And we really are just focusing on putting one foot in front of the other, and we've really been fortunate that we've picked the right direction so far and have seen growth, and we're seeing quarter over quarter growth, which is great. But I don't know why why us? I don't know. The SBA came back and said, there have been a bunch of people that have failed in this space. Why do you think you'll do better? And I was like, you should come down and drink beer. And the SBA was like, lady, do you know who we are? And I was like, but still, why do I think I'll do better? Maybe I won't. But quarter-over-quarter growth says, like, maybe they're wrong.
I know why you think you'll do better.
Why I think I'll do better?
Because I'm the hope and the dream of the slave.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we all? Like,
Yes.
we're all in this room because we've been beholden to someone else at some point, right? Like,
Yes.
we're all the hope and dream.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So I see your concept drawing up there. Are those intended to be food beds?
Where do you see?
The plants in the
Oh.
front? Yeah.
So that's one of the things I would love to have is an edible garden along the edge. And the DDA agrees that that would be an awesome concept. I'm not as confident in my ability to keep it alive. If you know anybody, send them my way. There's someone over here.
So how are you financed? And if the answer is different, how are your food concepts financed?
So this is an opportunity to give a shout out to Jackie Gonzalez with ABC Bank, because that woman pushed this through. She is a warrior and she deserves all the highest praises. She's awesome. And ABC Bank, like, really, they came through and did what really no one else could do, which is awesome. So they're doing our primary lending. We're on a 504, so the SBA is picking up the other percentage of it. They're a great fun group to work with if you haven't gotten that chance yet. It's really an interesting process, and you become an expert in a lot of acronyms. Who knew? So we are financing through them on building purchase, and we'll look to finance through them for any additional remodel that we can't pay for out of pocket. For our food vendors, we are financing a bunch of the startup on that because there will be a set booth for which they can work from. If they need additional equipment, or in 12 months when they're saying like, man, we're killing it. We're doing 50 covers a day, which that's not killing it, guys. Like, you need to do like 1,000 covers a day to make it work. But when we have someone that's ready to move on to the next level, we're partnering with Jackie and ABC to help them understand what they need, what they can get, where they can go, and how to do that. So it's an educational component with no guarantee of financing, but at least an opportunity to go pitch. Because I don't know if you guys have ever looked for traditional financing, but you drop off these stacks of paper like this big all over town. And so everyone knows all of your financial information and nobody calls you back. It's like the worst dating game ever.
So is this the food vendor? Is there a kitchen? If I remember, there's a kitchen in there, right? Is it a
There's no
commercial
kitchen.
where they're actually able to cook, or are they
So-
bringing the food in? How does that work?
So there's no kitchen on site. Common Cause Catering has a partnership with a commercial kitchen down here, and so the Carter Payne will take 30% of the revenues of every operator in the building. That helps offset overhead, use of the kitchen, marketing, everything else. And then the operator keeps 70%, which is actually a really good reflection of what it would look like in a real setup. About 30% of your income is going to go to rent, overhead, etc., if you get a reasonable rent rate.
When do you anticipate the sale being finalized, and have you seen this concept done anywhere else?
The sale was supposed to be done December 15th, but again, like, we had 2 holidays, and not to rag the government, but man, they move a little slower than the rest of the world. I mean, it's a different time frame that they work in, and so we answered all of their questions 3 times between the 15th and yesterday. So we're hoping a week from today will be our close date. So, but we were hoping it was last week too. So again, like, you just kind of gotta be flexible, and they're giving us a bunch of money, so whatever, man. Like, we're here, ready to take your money. It's cool.
And the second part was, have you seen this concept anywhere else nationally?
So I think this mimics a lot of what they're doing. Like, The Source is a good example. Avanti is a good example. There's some great locations in Denver. There's some really cool places on the East Coast so if you mean like beer and church, like beer church, there's a really famous church in Philadelphia that got converted to beer church. But just like the whole like taking a space and making it a community-driven place. There are several in Denver. Denver Public Market is actually killing it. They're doing a great job. And you know, they rotate people in and out too. So.
Is that the Stanley Market?
It's in Rhino, so I'm not sure. Yeah, so Denver Public Market's in Rhino.
What are some of the challenges you didn't expect?
I didn't expect how long this would take. And everyone tells you, like, you need a year's worth of operating capital to enter into, like, an agreement, right? Okay, well, 24 months later, I'm still working on it. And so we've been fortunate. It's not like we had to be closed and have capital saved and just hope for the best. You know, we've been able to operate and stay open. I did not expect the lead to drag from 12 months to 18 and now probably 24 on what we're doing here. And thank goodness our sellers are super wonderful. They are wonderful people, and they're the most patient humans God ever breathed life into, because we're still here. But that was a big one. On the other side of that, I did not expect, you put together all these projections, right? And you're like, in 5 years, we're gonna make $1 million. And you're like, no, nobody's gonna believe that, but just tell them that and see what happens. But our projections have tracked really closely this first 12 months. We projected that we'd have 100 members in the membership program for Local Relic. We just got 96. So this will finish month 12. We're off by 4. So that's, on the flip side, like a really good surprise that our projections were accurate. So, any more questions? Well, that one comes after the last question. So you have to wait for that one.
We've got time for one more question.
Oh, okay. So Jim says one more question.
Yeah.
One more question. What, Mickey? What?
This random talk guy that walked in, what role does he have in all this?
I don't know that guy. Take him back to jail. I don't know that guy. Yeah, no, so Jeff just walked in. He's my partner. And we've always split our companies 51-49, and I've been 51, and it never benefited us until the SBA. So, yeah, finally.
Yeah, so we're a minority female-owned business. Melissa doesn't look like it, but she's a registered card-carrying member of the Choctaw Nation.
That's true.
And so, yeah, so it did actually benefit us for the first time in 8 years to be a minority female.
Yeah. But so Jeff has been... Jeff has been, God bless him, he's been pulling electrical, and I don't know if you all work with electrical ever. I don't like to touch electricity, it's scary. It hurts. And so Jeff has been pulling all the electricity and like rewiring stuff and just doing things like handyman stuff that he really doesn't have time to do, but it's got to get done. So that's another thing you do expect, and then you're proved right, because you kind of hope, like, maybe I won't actually have to wash the windows of all the, you're wrong. Like, Jeff's been putting up insulation and junk, and I've been emailing and saying, everything okay out there? Like, you hear like a pop and a, oh, you're like, everything, woo. So yeah.
Okay, I truly do want to know, like, are you looking, what type of businesses, are you looking for just startups, or are you looking for small business restaurant owners that already have a small restaurant in town that might be able to catapult?
Both. So anyone in town that is currently running a business, and I won't name names because those talks are really confidential, but maybe they want to try a different concept out before they sign a lease. This is a great way to, like, if you had something a little strange that you thought, like, this might be outside of the comfort zone of Colorado Springs, the Payne would be a great place to come and try it for 12 months and see where that build and that lead goes. Because on one hand, you might be right. But on the other hand, like, we've got a house of ramen. Like, I didn't know how that would go, and apparently it's going really well, which is exciting. That means that like this population is ready for a little bit more diversity in what we're eating. So, but yeah, so both. So if you know anyone who has an idea and is a glutton for punishment, please send them my way.
Who would like to ask our super special question?
What can we as a Colorado Springs community do to help support you?
Well, Todd from Red Leg was in here, and he said buy local, buy small, buy local, and it's true every time. It doesn't matter if you're buying local Relic beer or Taco Confusion tacos or Red Leg beer. If you're buying local, you're buying from me too, because that builds that whole community and the whole idea that we are cooperating as co-opetition. We're all going to get there together. The other thing is, if you haven't been to the Carter Payne, guys, this is one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen. Come see it. I won't even make you drink beer. I'll ask you to, but you don't have to. You can come and eat any night of the week. Like, come visit us, see what this is about, because the history is much more detailed than what I'm able to give you here, but it's all really interesting. So, thanks for coming.